taking the chances with the abyss. My adventure is up to you. It's a bold choice. I'm Bear Grylls. I've spent my life showing you how to survive in some of the world's toughest terrains. Together, you and I are gonna find our way back to civilization. We've got two options of what to do here. Either step really tentatively or crawl like a seal. We go for the tunnel with the draft or the tunnel with the wall there. Do we follow the sound of the monkeys or do we climb the tree? You're in charge here. You're on this journey with me. You decide. And if you don't make the right choices, it might not end well for me. Go, 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 go. In you versus wild, whatever you say goes. You decide. You decide. You decide. That's a whopper. So what's it gonna be? Eat it or leave it? You decide. That was a friend who said, you should take your SS Berry with you. So that I was like, very good. Next up, Phil. He says, during your time with the military, you had a skydiving jump that went wrong. You broke your back in 3 places. What happened? And how did you recover and end up attempting Mount Everest? Firstly, my accident. I did have this accident. It was an evening jump in Africa. We were jumping 15,000 feet. We did 4,000 feet through freefall altimeter, deploy, look up, expect a nice canopy, and just instantly know something's really wrong here. I'm falling way too fast. There's a tear in the canopy. I'm madly trying to sort this thing out to try and control it. In a heartbeat, then I'm too low to be able to use that reserve, and then just like brace for impact and boom, just smash into the desert. I just remember a blurred journey back to a hospital, just doctors and pain. I remember being in this wheelchair in this corridor and this doctor coming along and just getting a big syringe and just like jabbing it in my back, and then suddenly the pain was gone and I was going, this is good, this is good, I'm up, I'm good, I'm ready to go. And it's like, you're not going anywhere. And then a long journey back to the UK and many months in military rehabilitation back then at a place called Headley Court in the UK. But I think for me the hardest thing was more than the injury, was just, I think it knocks your confidence so much. I was doing a job at the time that I loved and I was in my zone. And suddenly I can't move, I can hardly reach the bathroom across the room, and I don't know, it just, if anything, my progress felt like it was going backwards. And I knew I needed just a clear goal. And the one thing that had been a huge dream of mine since those early days climbing with my dad as a kid had been this dream of Mount Everest. And I always had this picture in my room growing up, and I think when I joined the military stuff, I left all that behind. It was kind of a kid's dream. But in that hospital, it was like, that is what I'm gonna do. And people say, well, you must be very positive to go from that to the top of the world. But it wasn't like that. It was a stumbling journey of like up and down again. But like having that goal was just, even if it was crazy, it was a focus. I was going to reach that bathroom, and then the bathroom on the floor above, and the floor above, and we'll do it step by step. Win or lose, I'm in. You know, I felt life was giving me a second chance. I should be paralyzed, but I'm not. And I'm determined just to live life with gratitude and, you know, boldly. Within a few months of that recovery, being back doing the job with the military, I heard that there was a small army team being put together to try and attempt Everest, and call it whatever. You know, serendipity, good fortune. Sometimes when you put things out in the universe from here and you're committed, things happen. You know, and I don't know, it's just good fortune. And I was like, this is my chance. And I fought to get on that team and eventually sort of won a place on that. And we took a year and we just did nothing but train for this. We climbed all these other peaks, and then happened pretty fast, and before we knew it, we were at the foot of this mountain, staring up at this thing 29,000 feet high. And people often ask, what is it actually like when you start climbing on it? And it's hard to describe in some ways, but we were there a long time, some 2.5 months, a long time to live in small two-man tents. We were climbing up to 18 hours of the day and the night. It's 4 climbers lost their lives whilst we were up there. 2 died of the cold and 2 fell. But eventually 2 of us from our team arrived on that summit, and it's like tiny, like a small table, cold, minus 45 degrees. The only fun part of minus 45 degrees is when you have a pee, it freezes as it hits. But you see the curvature of the earth at the edges and just super aware that you're somewhere special. And that mountain, without doubt, changed my life in so many ways. I brought with me, though, this evening some of the gear, some of the clothing, some of the stuff that we used high up on Everest. And I was wondering if you'd like to see some of the stuff, Rachel.
Yes.
I was going to get a young person to come and help me, and we're kind of get him dressed up and show him a little bit what it's like. We've picked a great young boy called Jack. Where are you, Jack? Here we go. Come on, Jack, up you come. Race up here. Okay, give Jack a big round of applause. Come on, Jack, come right here. Run. Here we go. Look, you're a scout. Picture of a scout is so great. Everyone's going to love seeing your uniform. Come on. It's good. Give me a scout handshake as well. You doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay, come with me. Okay, so first up, the tent, small tent. This is actually a 4-man tent. 4 of us in that, not a lot of room. What do you reckon?
Cool.
Okay, you hold that. Okay, the first thing we're going to get you dressed up in is a jacket. Now, minus 45 degrees, you've got to stay warm, because once you start getting cold, one arm in that, it's hard to get back. The golden rule of cold is don't let yourself even get cold. You've got to act early. Big down jacket like this traps all the air. And, oh, look at, oh, yes. Yeah, push your arm through. Push. And your other arm. Okay. Then, falling ice. You do not want to get hit by falling ice, so we've got to have a climbing helmet on as well. Yeah, look at you, look at the part. But then we need the backpack. Okay, one arm through. Here we go, one arm. There we go, other arm. There we go. Now you're starting to look like it. Do you have a guess what we put in the backpack? What do you think for 2.5 months up there? What do you think you need in the backpack?
Food and water.
Food and water. Anything else?
Warm clothes.
Yeah, warm clothes. Also a little bit of, do you know what this is? Oxygen. Because you're so high, the air is so thin, we've got to have it. Oxygen's heavy though, so I'm warning you. So I put it in the backpack, okay? Okay. And then, maybe the most important, your ice axe, okay? Now, look at that, you are ready to go. You reckon you can do it 18 hours at a time?
Maybe.
Do you want to see a little bit of the footage that we took from high up on the mountain? Okay, come on. Come over. Okay, here we go. So, this is low down in the ice fall, where you get all this tumbling cascade of ice, huge ones, like the size of, huge buildings, always moving, buddy, roped together. He helps me up, then I help him up, we move in pairs, take your time. And it's like why progress becomes really slow, and this is high up, you can see that Everest pace, like just a few steps. This is now super cold at this point. The summit ridge, this is the start of that summit ridge, you're going along, and then the very peak, you just see here, looking along it. Do not fall at this point. And then right up there on the very top, like that. Half the size of the tent on the very, very top. What do you reckon?
Super cool.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah. If you if you look in this pocket, here you go, I'll help you. If you look in this pocket, you see this? Can you read? Can you read that?
Everest water.
Everest water, yeah. So when I was on the top, I got this little bottle and I stuffed some snow in it. Obviously, when you come down, then the snow melts and becomes water. And a bit like with the berry in the drawer, I have another drawer over this side. If it's a really bad day, I do the berry and the water. But my dad used to have a little sip of this water and you know, every now and again, like for strength. You know. But for me, it's about knowing that there are no limits. You know, if you really want to do stuff, you can do it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. If you're positive and you're enthusiastic and you commit to it and you work hard, there is nothing, Jack, you can't do. Roger that?
Yeah.
What are you into? Tell me what you're into. What do you love to do? Are you sporty or music or what do you love?
Climbing.
Of course, you're a scout. We should have known that. Well done. Will you say hello to all your scout buddies when you're home?
Okay.
And then, last thing in this pocket is a little present, a little bag for you. What does that say? I know my writing is really bad.
Never give up.
I mean, my writing's not that bad, Jack. Well done. So you hold on to that. And I've got a little present for you as well. Little book. And we'll take you off here and we'll get you onto here you go. Let's get the hat off. The backpack. The oxygen. The ice axe. See the book, you got it? And then your jacket. Guys, give him a huge round of applause. Oh, I love it. Okay. So the next question, this is from Katie. Katie is a mum to 3, and she says this: I've often heard you champion the message of failure, of being willing to risk and embrace failure. Why is that important to you, and what have you failed at in your life? Of which I would say, first of all, so much, you know. I mean, really so much. I think of the failed expeditions, failed selection first time, the failed projects, the failed TV shows. I mean, that's the other thing. People are often unaware of how many shows I've had that have been cancelled over the years. In fact, I was trying to explain to our 3 boys, our sons, and one of them was saying, I didn't know about that show. And I said, yeah, that was a disaster. And they go, what about that one? I go, yeah, as well. They go, I had no idea. How many of you had that haven't worked? And I said, well, for every one that you might know, that every You vs. Wild or Man vs. Wild or Running Wild or any of these shows that have won, it's probably about 8 for each of them that are failures. So like sort of over 20 different shows that have done 1 or 2 episodes and then been canned. And they kind of went, oh, yeah, Marmaduke, my middle son, go, wow, that's a lot of failures. That's like, and then he started adding it up, and I could see his brain whirring. He goes, I can't think of many other people who've had so many. He goes, that technically makes you the biggest TV flop in history. I said, well, let's not over-egg this, you know. You get the idea. But the truth is, I've learned so much from the failures. I've learned that it's the only way we get to the good stuff. It's a doorway, it's a stepping stone. You've got to go through it. All the good stuff in your life lies on the other side. Failure, fear, doubt, struggle, battles. You've got to earn the right to get to the good stuff. I'm never ashamed of the failures. I wear them as scars. Okay, so from the many failures, we're moving on. We're moving to where all of those failures eventually, though, led me. And this is a question I often get asked from journalists, and they say, so how did you get your first ever break into TV? And the answer is I've written after Everest. I wrote a book on Everest, told that story. An American producer read it, came to see, approached me and said, I know your background and the survival stuff. Would you consider doing a show where we drop you in some difficult places and you show us how to get out of there? you know, and any sensible person would go like, yeah. You know, but I was just married, Shara and me, and I was kind of in this world of expeditions, and I didn't know anything about TV. For me, it just felt like outside of what I knew, so I said no. And then he came again, and he came 3 times, and I kept saying no, and eventually Shara, my wife, said, you know, she said, well, maybe you could just try it. And so it was just kind of smart, and it was, you know, so I went and we shot that first episode in the Rockies, and I was like shooting down rapids and chasing snakes and jumping off cliffs, and it never felt like TV. Small team, we just gummed it and went home, thought nothing more about it. They put it out late at night in the US with no like promotion, no marketing, and the timing was just right, and it by the grace of God, it flew. And I don't know, I look back now and I think, you know, first of all, the lesson for me is, number 1, listen to your wife. And, you know, and then second, I think is just go for it, fail, but do your best, as the scouts say. I like it. It's like, do your best. You don't have to win, you don't have to be the best. Just do your best. All of this, though, undoubtedly led to some of the greatest adventures of my life.
To make it out alive, you gotta have the right skills, the right spirit, but also a little bit of luck.
There's always a moment of impact. That is what I've learned. Okay, so this next question is from one of my all-time adventure heroes. You might know him, the legendary Sir Ranulph Fiennes, that the Guinness Book of Records described as the greatest living explorer.
Hi Bear, you are, in my opinion, someone who has suffered more horrible experiences in jungles and deserts. I'm just wondering if you are a member of the Snake Bite Survivors Club. Have you ever been bitten by one?
First of all, Ran, what a truly beautiful and amazing man. He's been a friend and a mentor to me for many years. Also the hardest man I know. I mean, period. He got really bad frostbite on his fingers. They all went black. And then the hospital take forever to do the operation. They said, we just got to wait a few weeks and let it see what happens. And he got so annoyed. And he said it was so painful. He just got the Black & Decker saw and just took them off. And he keeps them in a jar. And I mean, he's out the level. I'm telling you, he's out the level. Snake Bite Survivors Club. I had heard about this club, and I always thought, that'd be a pretty cool club to be a member of. You know, you just don't want to do the entrance exam, so to speak. But I have been bitten by a snake. It was in the Borneo jungle, and I was making a camp in the tree one evening, and I saw this viper just shooting up this branch. I just managed to get it by the back end. And I was like pulling in it, wrapped his head around a branch. I was trying to pull it back, and then I gave it a yank, and then it flew back and grabbed my hand and started biting my hand. And I pulled it off, and it started biting itself, and it was like going crazy. Anyway, it was fine. I had it for dinner in the end, so it kind of worked out. But the lesson from that one was never grab a snake by its anus. I think that's why that was an error. The worst snake bite I've ever seen the aftermath of was from a friend called Steve who got bitten in the jungle by a fed-and-ass snake. The fang went through the eyelet of his jungle boot, and it got pretty grim. Do you want to see a picture of this? Okay, I'm warning you. Okay, if you get upset, it's entirely your fault because I've warned you all to cover your eyes. So if you happen to look, this is entirely your fault. And if you are young, be warned. that clear? Here we go. So there's not a lot of eye covering going on. That's the bones and the flesh and the... I warn you. But the hemotoxic venom just attacks the flesh. We'll get off it. Attacks the flesh and then eats that away. And even though he had anti-venom and got to a hospital, that's still the aftermath of that. They did manage to solve it. They took part of his buttock and then stapled that onto the top of his foot. Also quite a grim picture. Do you want to see this one? Yes. I would just like to warn you, yet again, you are welcome to cover your eyes. Here we go, here we go. So that's the staples of the buttock on top of the foot to like get it all to regrow. Anyway, we're moving on, we're moving on. Steve, a true hero, he did survive. What a legend. Okay, up next. This question is from the one and only, or actually two and only, Anton Deck. I don't know if you guys know Anton Deck, great, you know.
Hi there! Hope the tour's going well.
Hi everybody!
Hi everyone! Listen, we've got two questions, if that's okay, one each. My question is, how come you haven't died yet? A genuine question. How come you haven't died?
And my question is, you always seem to be so in control out there. Has it ever gone wrong? But like, seriously wrong?
Spectacularly wrong.
Alright. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the show, everybody.
Bye!
Has it ever gone wrong? I mean, a lot is the answer to that. The truth is, there's hardly ever an adventure that you go out into wild, difficult, remote places, stuff happens. You know, I remember seeing a great t-shirt once that said, adventure only happens when things start to go wrong. And I kind of like that, because then it tests your resourcefulness and your calm in the crisis and figuring it out. I know there've been so many incidents, rock falls, pinned in rapids, you know, the parachute failures, the snake bites, a falling camera once fell 300 foot and missed my head by an inch, smashed into my leg on this huge metal housing and like that. That was hospitals and helicopters and stuff. I don't know, maybe the time in the Northern Territories here in Australia, we were about to go and fill our water bottles from this little billabong, super calm water, and you know where this is leading. The thing is, it's not often the big moments that catch you out. It's the little ones where you're tired, you're dehydrated, and all the crew go, let's just refill here, and I go, hold on, just super mindful of crocs, can't see the bottom of this. We hadn't seen a croc for a bit, and they went, it'll be fine. And I said, well, let's just let me throw this rock in. Picked up kind of rock, just like lobbed it in. It was only a small little billabong like this. And literally, as that rock hit the water surface, this croc just burst out, thrashing, all snapping a tail and like a jacuzzi of white water, and then calm, still, not a ripple. It's like, okay. We'll refill somewhere else in this game. I don't know, you only get it wrong once in a while. I think I'm more proud of the times where it goes well, no dramas. You know, like I say, you only get it wrong once. And it really is the little things that are often annoying. I mean, this, for example, this was bees. You know, getting stung by bees. I found a great honeycomb and I was reaching in and the first bee stung me. I thought, that's fine, I'm almost at the honey. And another bee, and then I couldn't quite got it. And a few more bees, and eventually I got the honey. And then in like about 10 minutes, my whole head started to balloon up. The crew said, actually, you're looking pretty good. It's actually an improvement. The honey was awesome. This one was an improvised pole vault across a ravine. This one actually worked sweet. I mean, a lot of times it doesn't work out, but this one worked a treat. I was soaking wet, it was snowy Oregon. I just got dry after kind of 12 hours trying to dry everything out over a fire. Reached this next river and I thought, I'm not going in this one. I'm finding a way across it. Found this long pole, this branch, sort of took off a little bit. And the crew were going, it's never going to work. And the truth is, like, most of the time, it didn't. That's why it made the show quite fun. But this one worked beautifully. I sailed over it, landed like Twinkle Toes the other side. This next one in Alaska is probably this one definitely didn't work out, and it's probably as close as you'll ever get to not coming home.
I want to test my makeshift bridge before committing. The log seems solid, but then disaster.
I think I'm mumbling, I hate it when that happens. This is true, I just managed to catch that tree root, and it's why the dynamic started on the show of like the crew would always follow me. They go, you go first. Get the idiot to go first. Yeah. And they also said your head is much better from behind as well, so they'd always film from behind. Okay, next question is about fear. And it's from Jake, who's a dad to 2 boys, and he says, you've had to deal with many scary things in life. What have you learned about overcoming fear? And I think I'd say, first of all, so much of life is scary. It really is, you know, it's just part of life. We have to learn how to handle fear and nerves and anxiety. You know, if we're going to go for big things in our life, it's going to be a constant companion. You know, it's going to be a key skill to learn how to deal with. And I think it's interesting, most people run from it. When they're scared of something, they avoid it. Scared of hospitals, public speaking, whatever it is, they just don't go near it. And what happens, the monkey gets bigger on your back. You know, the key with dealing with scary stuff is moving towards it, not running. You know, and I now treat nerves and anxious moments as training, good training. It's a training ground. You know, it's like skydiving. You know, ever since that accident, for me, it's a really hard thing in here to do. That door opens and the wind is like, oh. You know, many people, you maybe don't know the TV shows, they go, so have you ever jumped again? You know, since that accident, of which you know the answer. My friend JT jumping, beautiful man. But that is the answer. The answer is all the time. It is a conscious choice to embrace the difficult stuff. Whatever it is, whatever shape it comes in. It might be just cold shower in the morning. Difficult. You can't hide from the cold. Or big audiences. You know, that's scary. I mean, you know, I joke about big audiences, but really, you might not know, but I get really super nervous before these shows. I actually don't even think about it until just before, because it ruins the day. And then I think about it for about 5 minutes before, and then my hand starts to shake. If you can see me backstage, I promise you, my hand is physically shaking. The number of times new crew behind the scenes here go, "You're right, buddy." It's like, just about. But that's life. That is life. And then you get out there and you realise, as you say, it's okay. It's not as bad as sometimes we might imagine. Okay, so we're almost halfway. We have so much ahead though in part 2. We've got the camera crew, which I love telling you a little bit about them. We've got some of the amazing guests that we take on, like Running Wild. We've got Scouts. We've got Pea. Some wilderness snacks. But first we're going to have a quick 20-minute break. See for pot.
Now it's time to get yourself ready, because part 2 is about to begin. So get ready, and please welcome back to the stage your host, your guide for this evening, all-around good guy. It's the one and only Bear Grylls.
Okay, welcome back. Everyone feeling good? Rehydrated with all the good stuff? Not the pee. Okay, so we've got so much fun stuff ahead now. We've got the camera crew, we've got all of these. First up, where is it? Here we go. Oh, by the way, I've got Shara and Marmaduke here tonight, and a few other family and friends as well. So I like this. This makes me feel like, you know, a little bit stronger, happier then. But first, this is, as I say, one of my favourite parts of the evening, because I get to tell you about the, in my view, the real unsung heroes of this whole journey, the crew that work alongside me on these TV shows. As you can imagine, I get asked about these guys a lot. They are incredible, they're like family to me. They do everything that I do, but backwards, whilst carrying heavy cameras, whilst carrying much heavier backpacks. Best friends, as I say, we've done it from the beginning. It's like TV's a really transient industry where everyone's always changing teams and crews. And I think it's one of the things I'm most proud of on the whole journey is we've had the same core team from day one, from the beginning. And I feel like we've done everything together, you know, life and adventure and family, and had kids together. And, well, not literally, but you know, seen each other have kids. But those friendships are definitely one of the best things in my life. In fact, right now, team have just got back from the jungle, finishing a new show we've got coming out for Netflix called Bear Hunt. It comes out next week worldwide. You're going to love this one. I've got a little clip of this. I'm going to show you a little sneak peek of what Bear Hunt involves. So here we go.
He is going to be formidable prey.
This is the ultimate survival challenge. 12 celebrities are in the Costa Rican jungle going head to head with the legendary Bear Grylls.
Oh my God.
This is mad. Born to be wild.
If you're from the hood, you do not do challenges in Costa Rica. Oh my God.
Are you gonna do this?
Jump.
I survived prison. I want to compare this to the wild.
How much away from Strictly can you get?
A little bit of pee.
Unbelievable.
I've done many wild things in my life, but I've never hunted celebrities.
Anyone caught by bear will be in danger of elimination.
Tied up as well. I normally pay extra for that.
12 celebrities dropped in the jungle, 18 days to track them down. What can possibly go wrong? Anyway, back to the crew on these shows. One thing I get asked a lot, especially on the Man vs. Wild TV shows, people say, well, did the crew help you a lot on those journeys? Of which the answer is all the time. You know, there was always on that show a helping hand, an extra length of rope, a protein bar if I was really struggling. I don't know, on that show we needed each other as a tight team of 5 or 6 of us all day, every day. Without them, there were none of those early shows. And like I say, the real heroes in it all. In terms of survival, I always think our team was a bit like survival maths, which is 1 + 1 equals about 5 or 6. You know, you've got great people with you, exponentially stronger. My sort of maths. Anyway, here's a little bit of behind the scenes from one of the episodes we did, talking about how we kind of filmed together.
And there's no doubting, I couldn't do this without my team.
Change the plan, Nick. Come on, go. Okay, so get going.
Through the years of working with them, we've built up a mutual respect. We trust each other with our lives. In extreme environments like these, good teamwork is everything. And together, you're always stronger.
He's always looking out for me, and I can't thank him enough for doing that. It's so valuable, it's so helpful.
It's tough on everybody, and everyone's got to get their jobs right, and only one chance at it. I've
been so privileged and fortunate to travel to so many environments and so many places in the world.
It's the extremes, that's the kind of thing. Literally, one week you'd be somewhere absolutely freezing cold, you'd be in Norway, -20, next week you'd be +30 in the middle of a jungle, sweaty jungle somewhere.
So, that's Simon there on the camera, Dan, camera assistant, Paul on sound, me sort of making a big song and dance about this whole thing. Well, what a team. I did ask Dan, the second guy there, I said, have you got any good little clips on your iPhone, just from little things you've shot behind the scenes over the years? And he sent me this.
So I've worked with Bear for the past 8 years, and this woke me up this morning. And it's what wakes me up most mornings, which is nice.
Nice throwing drills, never takes the morning off, obviously. Shara goes nuts when I start throwing them into the wall at home. Okay, moving on to the other heroes of the TV shows, and that is the running wild guests that we take out into the wild. This next question is from one of our guests, superstar Rita Ora.
Hey, it's Rita Ora. My question for you is, you've taken the biggest stars around the world, Bradley Cooper, Kate Winslet, me, making this series. I mean, how does it differ from all your solo trips and just facing the wild head on?
Rita, awesome lady, tough, fun, a true survivor in her own right. She came over to the UK from war-torn Kosovo as a young child, and I don't know, it's part of what I really love about that show, Running Wild, is you get to hear these stories. You know, the real stories, people's lives, the battles, the struggles, the failures. You know, it's not like a chat show performance where you're just on a couch telling a funny story for 3 minutes. You travel together for a few days, you get to know what they're really like. You get under the skin a little bit, and she was amazing. To her question, how's it different taking a rookie? It is definitely different. I think on Man vs. Wild, we started to become so efficient as a team. We'd move like silent communication. We just knew what each other were thinking all the time. The team always say we used to reach a cliff. I'd look down, I'd take the rope out, I'd whoosh around the tree, throw the rope, and we'd go. And on Running Wild, they say you reach the cliff, pull the rope out, and go around the tree, double check around the tree, check the knot, throw, double check there, rope, throw, double check there. Everything takes a little bit longer. But I think that's part of it. It's a different job. You're guiding now, and you only, like I say, you only get it wrong once. You've got to really be respectful of these guys have never done anything like this before. But my job, keep them alive, keep it fun. This was Benedict Cumberbatch, a great true British icon. We took him to the Isle of Skye in winter in the UK. Tough environment, wet, cold, always super windy. We got probably the best exfil, the best extraction we've ever done at the end of a journey. I mean, we've done almost 100 of these now. I think this was probably the best ending. He said to me, his grandfather, he grew up with stories of his grandfather, who was a submariner in the Royal Navy. He was always like fascinated by all of that. I knew where we were in Skye, we were near the naval base. And like, as we were like sorting out our camp the night before, I thought, I'm just gonna make a discreet satellite phone call and see if I can see what we'll pull off. And I said, I got hold of the Navy and I said, you don't by any chance have a submarine like available? And anyway, the whole thing, and they go, well, potentially we'll get in touch with Navy Communications and MOD and we'll see if in 6 months we could coordinate something. And when are you thinking? I'm thinking like in the morning? And anyway, miraculously, they happen to have a sub in the air and we pulled off the impossible. Well done, the Royal Navy. But it was epic. It was one of those kind of cool moments. We were paddling out in these klepper canoes. Benedict said, he's freezing already. He goes, where are we going? I go, Scotland, 10 miles that way, keep paddling. He goes, we're never going to make it, we're going to die of cold. And I'm thinking, I've got my GPS with the Latin longs where they said the sub would emerge. And I'm thinking, you better come, otherwise we're in trouble. And then the Marines came in a patrol boat, took us out, and then up it came, and super cool moment.
That's one of the Royal Navy's nuclear submarines.
You have friends in high places.
And we're going to be one of the few civilians ever to get to go on and dive in that.
Wow. My grandfather had been playing in my mind quite a bit over the last couple of days, and it felt like a very immediate connection to him, and to see it was just an oh my god shock moment.
Amazing. I'm so moved by it.
I couldn't believe it. I'm sort of tearing up now just thinking about it. It was, wow.
Okay, take it, guys. Take it.
The past couple of days have been extraordinary. What an experience. And then to round it all off, it just became more and more about a narrative I wasn't expecting.
That was good fun. The moustache was slightly dodgy, but my moustache. Other guests. Roger Federer here, using a tennis racket that I'd threaded some paracord through a tennis ball, and I said, look, if we get that around this tree up this cliff and then back, and we'll pull the rope up around the tree and then we'll use that to climb up. And he said, it's never going to work. I said, it will work if you just make sure you get it around. I'll prepare this, you just got to get it around the tree. And like annoyingly, like straight up and around. I also took when we started the journey, I had these tennis bags. I grabbed a whole bunch of the rackets. I thought I'd use those. You know, I love the improvise, adapt, overcome kind of spirit to it. And then we got reach deep snow, and I thought we'll use these as snowshoes. Great, we'll strap them on our feet. That was a disaster. I just broke four of his best rackets. I found it interesting though, he said at the start of this journey, he goes, I'm so nervous for this. I go, really? He goes, yeah, really. Yeah. I go, what about like compared to the final of Wimbledon? He goes, more nervous. And I kind of found that interesting. Why, you know, people like this don't need the money or the fame. It's not there for that. And then I realized I'd often hear that from incredible people who take away. It's like they like that it's training, like I said, it's training for nerves. And therefore, when he goes out to do his stuff, it's like he's used to it. It's a muscle in all of us. We can train being good with fear, good with anxiety, but you have to embrace the difficult stuff. And he was just another reminder for me of that. This was with Bradley Cooper in Wyoming, quite a cool camp spot on the side of a rock face, 200 foot up on this sheer rock face, the crew either side filming. This was a nice chance for me to get my own back on the cruise. Normally, they're all wrapped up and all Dan Jack is filming and we're like crossing a river or whatever. This was one of the rare times where we just sat on the edge and we were like having a cup of tea. I could hear on the radio the crew going, they're like hanging in their balls and their harness like, we're dying, just come on, wrap it up. You know? I'm going, oh Bradley, look at this. I can sit here all night. But Bradley, one of the nicest guys we meet in Hollywood, super cool. He said to us at the end, he said, I hear you live on a little island in North Wales in the UK. I'd love to bring my daughter a visit. And I was like, okay, but I kind of just want to manage expectations a little bit. It's not like Hollywood. It's not going to be like a Bahamas island. It's pretty bad weather most of the time. And we fixed a date. I was just sort of doing the long-range forecast, hoping it was going to be nice for him. Sure enough, we had the worst winter storm of the summer. You know, we ended up sitting under the boardwalk in this cafe, wrapped up in all the sort of anoraks, drinking tea out of a polystyrene cup. Wind and sand being blown into his daughter's face. And me going, what first attracted you to come to sunny climes in North Wales? But really fun guy. He said before the journey, he said, without me knowing, to our production crew, could I wear everything that Bear's wearing in the same gear and I like. And so it ended up basically he was a better looking, cooler version of myself. Anyway, here's a little summary of Running Wild over the years. Here's one of the seasons promo.
The wild, full of life, adventure, and celebrities. Who should have read the fine print?
That's rabbit poo.
Oh, it's just what I wanted.
Oh my god. Bear's a maniac. I should have killed him in his sleep last night.
Slightly nervous laugh from myself at the end. Next question is from wildlife adventure legend, good friend, Steve Batchel.
Hi Bear, it's Steve Batchel here. So after doing 7 seasons of Running Wild, I'm guessing the highlight must have been when the White House got in touch to ask if you would take President Obama into the wilderness. A sitting president taken to Alaska to undergo all kinds of challenges. The responsibility must have been phenomenal. So my question to you is simply, tell us what it was like.
Steve's such a good guy. He's an inspiration to so many people. Yes, the Obama episode, that was definitely left field. It was a real privilege to do. Our production got a call from the White House, and we actually thought it was a spoof to start with, so hung up. And then they rang back and they said, no, verify this number so we went through the switchboard and it was real, and they said the president's a big fan of the show, he wants to go to Alaska, he's going to Alaska, and says, would you show him some of the climate change stuff close up? All happened pretty quickly. We went off, we started prepping a journey. Normally we always say to Running Wild guests, just come on your own, leave the entourage behind, trust us, we've got it. That wasn't going to swing on this one. It was incredible actually to see the whole Secret Service machine in action. On the day, we had like 50 or 60 Secret Service with us. We had helicopters going overhead every few minutes. We had snipers in the mountains along this valley. They helicoptered in portaloos, porta potty, kind of every kilometre along the way to this glacier. I remember at one point him saying, what are those? I said, those are for you, because they thought in case you needed that you could. I said, of course, you could just use the bushes. He said, we'll use the bushes. But it was, like I said, a real privilege. He was a regular guy. I was super nervous beforehand. I remember my mum saying, what are you going to ask me? You've got to ask a really probing, interesting question. I was thinking like, I don't know, do you play hide and seek in the White House with your kids? My mum go, oh no, it's going to be a disaster. But he was really humble, curious about everything. He said at the end, you know what, it's one of the best days of my presidency because I'm out of the office, out of the White House, out of a suit, not being grilled on geopolitics, talking about life and kind of my journey. And, so that's definitely a special one for me. Oh yes, I did do, Jessica also asked, was it planned that you fed him a half-eaten blood-soaked salmon? Which we did. We fed him, basically we were scouting the journey the day before, came along this riverbank, saw this half-eaten salmon on the bank that a bear had been munching on. And it was pretty gnarly. It was like mostly eaten, covered in blood and a few bones and a bit of flesh still on it. But I thought that'd be great, we'll get that. I wrapped him in some moss, stuck it in a backpack, got back to base, was having a whole briefing with the Secret Service that evening about the plan for the next day. And I said, and we'll reach a bit of the glacier and I'll make a little fire, pull the salmon out, we'll eat some nature sushi, it's going to be great. There was like a sort of pause. And the head of the Secret Service goes, that is not going to happen. First of all, he doesn't eat on camera, he doesn't drink on camera. I said, oh, I'll be fine. Sort of pushed him a little bit. And eventually said, well, the only compromise we could do is if we bring the White House chef with us. And he can pre-make a salmon and he'll bring it with us. And when we get to that bit and you pull out your salmon and you're doing it, we'll give you the nod, and we'll cut, we'll switch the salmons out. And I thought, okay, whatever, it's fine, salmon's a salmon. And so we get to that point, we're at the glass, I'm making the fire, I pull out this thing. By this stage, it's got a lot worse than it was yesterday. It was looking pretty sorry for itself, and it was looking unreal. I was like, ooh. I could see the guy in white with the whole hat, holding this silver platter behind the cameras. It had the whole lid, everything. And I was thinking, oh no, I wonder what's under. He kept waving, and I just kept going. And then he lifted up the thing, and it was salmon was about this long, sort of garnished with some lemon and parsley. I thought, this is never going to work. It bears no resemblance whatsoever. So I thought, I'm just going to ignore it. And the president was great. We munched the salmon, and then the crew fed like kings in the evening. So it all worked out. Anyway, here's a little clip of that show.
You won't believe who's joining me for an adventure.
I don't claim remarkable survival skills. I'm sure that Bear's going to give me some tips. I made you a s'more.
Great president, but lousy cook.
I promise you, it's better than anything that you've ever had on this show.
And a selfie up here, this will be the best view of the lot.
For security reasons, I can't have a smartphone. I had to borrow one from my staff. Hey, Joe, what's the code? It's possible you guys could edit that out. Maybe not.
We never edit it out. Okay, moving on from presidents, we're moving on to scouts. And first, so if you're a scout here tonight, respect. If you're a volunteer here tonight, respect. As some of you guys might know, one of the great privileges of my life is for 15 years to be Chief Ambassador of the World Scouts, a worldwide force for good, as I said, 55 million strong, giving young people pride and purpose and a family and that sense of adventure that they might not normally ever get. And you know, something that I continue to do for the World Scouts, and I love it. And if you're a scout and you're involved, respect to you, like lovely Jack who came out. What a brilliant thing. Wherever there's a disaster zone in the world, you'd always find scouts there helping, taking that promise to be kind and helpful, and a beautiful thing. So well done. Next up, the Royal Marines. One of the other roles that I'm really proud to do is to be Honorary Colonel to the British Royal Marine Commandos. For me, this is a special one, with my late dad having been a Royal Marine. The role is to champion all they do around the world. Wherever I am, always try and go and visit them, whether it's in jungles or on aircraft carriers or whatever country they're in, or back in the UK, champion their values. But for me, real heroes. I love that connection. So for any of you here that in any way you're connected with the military as family or a veteran or serving yourself, and I know there are a bunch of you here this evening, respect to you, respect for your service. What a family. Talking of family, moving on to my family, Pete asks, tell us about your family, tell us about your children, and the fact that you live on an island for part of the year. Like I said, we have 3 boys, always an adventure. They're not so little anymore. Jesse and Marmaduke have now left school. Jesse is an artist and paints beautiful pictures, loves his adventure, loves his paragliding. We have so many fun trips together. Marmaduke, an incredible young man, 6'4", stacked, a butcher. He's learning to be a butcher, wants to join the army, loved by many. And then Huckleberry's still at school, age 16, loves his sport, very shy, tennis and rugby obsessed, has bust his nose about 10 times, but heart of gold. So that's the boys. And then there's Shara, best thing I ever did, kind, loyal, fun, smart, definitely the kind of the rock in all of our lives. And then next to her, other side, Sybil, a ferocious guard dog. All I wanted was a big German Shepherd, and I got totally overruled. And we got that. And then, to cap it all, she goes and steals my heart as well. And then the island. We do live part of the year on this little island in North Wales. It is probably the second best thing we did after marrying Shara. It's off-grid, no mains, electricity, water originally collected off the roof and into underground tanks. We have solar and wind to power it. Off-grid living isn't necessarily for everyone. I think as Australians, you guys get it more than most nations, but I think people often think of it as like desert islands, and the Bradley Cooper thing of like beautiful palm trees. This is more the reality. Just another morning on the island, 40-mile-an-hour winds, full waterproof, chasing the chickens, trying to get the eggs, batten down the hatches again, and welcome to life on the island. We don't get many flat, calm days like this. You know, I think this was in the early 80s, and somebody snapped a shot of it. But then there's the sanitation arrangements on the island. This was our first ever loo. We actually now have an indoor loo. Luxury. But this is the original one where we'd have the umbrella stuck in the gorse bush. So if it's raining, you just sit there with the umbrella. But then, as I say, you get this beautiful swim every day in these beautiful tropical seas. You can see the white sand beaches and the fish darting beneath your feet. Literally at the Bahamas. I should have showed Bradley that one, and then he would never have come. Okay, moving on. Nikki asks, he says, how do you start your day? What are your tips for a strong, happy, healthy life? And I don't know, I think all of us have our hacks in our life, don't we? Things we find work for us, and it's individual for everyone. So I'm not saying mine are kind of anything particularly enlightening, but I like to start the day, I get barefoot, I get outside, I try and resist the urge to get on my phone in bed in the morning. I try and just get outside with the dogs, barefoot, even if it's terrible weather in the UK, out on some grass and just barefoot. I like that. I try and say my prayers in the morning, a bit of stretching, I do my training, 30 minutes, short, sharp, kettlebell, bodyweight stuff. Then I get cold, shower, jump in a river, jump in the sea, and generally try and kind of eat, in terms of eating, try and stay away from all the processed stuff. You know, the more and more we're learning, it's just so bad for you. Try and eat natural, good, grass-fed meat, lots of eggs, dairy, honey. Keep it simple, keep it natural. What else? Hug the dogs, laugh at oneself, try and get good sleep. You know, like I say, not rocket science. Nikki also asks, he says, your faith seems something that runs through so much of what you do. Tell me just a little about that. Faith is a difficult one. I always, if I'm ever asked about it, I never feel like I articulate it very well. It's hard because it's personal. And like I say, I don't feel particularly religious, but my Christian faith has been a definite secret strength in my life. I look at it like a backbone. I see it as light to a dark path, strength to a failing body, and like I say, I try and say my prayers in the morning, say sorry, say thank you for the good stuff, and say help for the day ahead, and kind of keep it simple, and that's it. Next up, Robina. She asks, what is the kindest thing that's ever been done to you? And this question I kind of skipped over, and then I kind of went back to it and I thought about it, and it's interesting, and then I knew the answer to this, and it's this guy here on the left, a grizzled looking face. The man called Chris Carter. He was one of my sergeants in 21 SAS. He was an E Squadron legend. And it was something happened once in the desert, and we had a helicopter extraction we were waiting for. We were almost out of water, really low on water, super hot conditions, and then the extraction got delayed by 48 hours, and it was 40 kilometers away, and it was like, wow, now we've got a big move, heavy gear, hot conditions. And through that next night as we moved, we were like just rationing our water, a little capful every hour. And I remember I was really struggling. Heat stroke is hard. When heat stroke starts coming on, it's like you can fight it as much as you want, but you're probably not going to win. And I could feel it. I was really, really going down. And I just remember it was 2 a.m. in the morning. We had a stop. It was dark, and everyone got their little last capful, had a sip, and nobody saw him do this. He just got his capful, grabbed mine, went like that, and passed it back. And so I pretended to drink his. And I drank it, and obviously the water didn't make any difference, but it was like, it gave me a strength that's hard to say. it carried me, and nobody ever saw it, nobody knows about it. You know, he never mentioned it. It was just like, it's called kindness. And I don't know, it's leadership, isn't it? It's friendship. And Chris was tragically then killed in Afghanistan a few years later, but I've never forgotten that. And I always try and honour him whenever I can. So that's. Okay, changing gear to survival nutrition and to food. And Sally asks, she goes, what is the worst thing? we got to it. What is the worst thing you've ever eaten in the wild? Of which it is a long list of bad things. I think the first thing that comes to mind is probably rat brain. Maybe camel intestinal fluids, it's bad. Yak eyeballs, scorpions, tarantulas, lots of snakes. The anus of a skunk, I mean, that was a bad one. You know, if you're smart, you'd get the clue from the two words, really. I mean, probably the worst, I think, was raw goat's testicles. And I remember we were in the Sahara Desert, and we were staying with this nomadic tribe out there, and they said at the end of the journey, they said, well, because as our honoured guest, the village, we want to feast tonight, we're going to kill this goat, and then we're going to give you the prized part of the goat. I was a little greener in those days. I was thinking, this is exciting. Maybe it's a fillet, you know, the steak. And they said, the testicles. I thought, oh no. I thought, while they're sharpening their machete, I'm going to go around and have a look at the goat who was over here. The goat was only small. I thought, it can't be that bad. It's only a little goat. Went around the back and looked at it and was like, wow. This is out of all proportion to the size of the rest of the goat. I got the best hung goat in the Sahara Desert. Oh no, they did the business and they took off the back and they gave me this and all the village are there watching, and I'm thinking, there's no way I'm biting into that, because that's going to be a world of bad stuff. I'm going to try and swallow whole. And it was like a grapefruit, you know. I mean, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but it was like definitely a large apple. So I got this, I sort of stuffed it in and trying to get it down the throat, but then, it's only so wide, and it got to about here. And all the villagers are looking, some of them are pretty wide-eyed at this point. And then I could feel, when you feel you're about to throw up, I feel that whoosh. I thought, I can't throw up in front of the village, and so I keep my mouth over there. And now I've got sort of, basically coming out of my nose, a mix of sort of vomits, goat sperm, sack, and a whole lot. Oh dear, it's a really, really bad afternoon. How do we get to this? We're going to move on. Dave asked, do you really drink your own pee? Of which the answer is, in the name of survival, only in the name of survival, yes, but I'm not one of these people who does it for fun. And there are those people out there, if you look on YouTube, they're always slightly weird and talk about the health benefits, and I'm not one of those, But in the name of survival, I have had to do it quite a few times. And if you're well hydrated with clear pee, and you've got limited water or fluids, you don't want to waste that clear pee. You can mix it with other stuff, or you can drink it straight, and that's going to help you. If you're peeing out brown, dehydrated, stinking pee, that's waste product, it's not going to help you. So let that go. But this stuff is good. Well, it's not good, but it's going to help you. I do remember once getting a snake and eating the snake and keeping the skin, and then peeing in the skin, tying a knot in the end, and then using that as like a net cooler in the desert for a couple of days, and then drinking the pee at the end of it. That was bad, because it's going to be fermenting and all the snake in it. Maggots, that's another one. I mean, there have definitely been some big maggots over the years. Those big grubs are bad, and they're always for God knows what is inside them. I mean, I've actually brought some maggots with me today. And I was half wondering if maybe one or two young people might come and join me on stage to go through the experience of having a couple of maggots. We have picked a couple of kids. We've picked Summer. You know where you are. You're not going to get out of it, Summer. And also we have picked Jotham. So Jotham and Summer, come on, up you come. Give a big round of applause. Come around this way. Where are you guys? Come on, here we go. Come, quick. Here we go. Let's Jotham. Where's Summer? Okay, up you come. Do you want to come? Do you want to come up with me? You come and stand on the side. Hey, nice to meet you, buddy. How you doing? Come with me. Have we got Summer? This is Summer, come on, Summer, run. Okay, you hold that. Okay, have you eaten a maggot? Yes, I have. What a legend. What a legend. Well, this is going to be far too easy. Well, you can be the pro, you can guide us. Summer, what about you? You had a maggot before? Come on, run. You go. Here we go. All right. So have you ever had a maggot before? No. No, okay. I wonder who asked you. You had a maggot? She's done a great job all evening, hasn't she? You've been an unsung hero. And does that mean I'm not having the maggot? Come on, over you come. Come and join us. Come on. Okay, you want to see the maggots first of all? Okay, you hold that. Okay, press the green button. Oh no, you need your hands. Someone, press the green button. Okay, here we go. Here are the maggots. Here we go. Press the green. Okay, here are the maggots. Okay, so the key with maggots is that you've got to chew them, because you don't want them wriggling out of any other, or you got to chew them as they go down. Roger that? Chew. Okay, hand up. Here we go. A couple for you. For you. You're an old hat. This is easy. You get double rations. And because you've done such a good job, I want to make sure you've got enough energy. Protein, more protein than steak, pound for pound. So we like maggots. Okay, here we go. Should we have a countdown? You ready? 3, 2, 1. I mean, for you, it's no worries at all, is it? What does it taste like?
It doesn't taste bad.
Yeah, it doesn't taste bad. Summer, what do you reckon?
It's okay.
Did you chew it?
Yeah.
You seem to be maybe struggling a little bit. Well, it could be worse. It's good. Like so many things in life, I think, things we're scared of. You get most people eat a maggot, they're like, oh, that's a starter. I'm kidding. Like most things we're scared of, when you actually do it, it ain't so bad. Yeah? Tell me what you love to do in your life. What do you love? Sport or like music?
I like surfing and hiking.
Surfing and hiking, what brilliant things to do. Yeah, good for you. Keep doing that. Who do you do that with?
Well, with my dad sometimes.
Oh, the best. Awesome. What about you? What do you love to do?
I play netball and I support Bryson Herbalium.
Come on, brilliant. It's so fun. You're obviously sporty. Good job with you. Well, I got a little present. And you came together, you're going to share that one. Don't fight over it. Roger that. Well, I give these guys a big round of applause. Well done. Okay. Do you want a little bit of water? Is this? Yeah. It's like, I just love your experience. Like, you got to wash these things down. Okay, we're at the point of the final question. Anna, there you go, let me give me some light to get him back. Okay, we're good. And this question is arguably maybe the most important one of the whole night, and it's this. If you had to give a young person advice on the road of life and adventure, what would it be? And I think this isn't just for young people. This is for all of us. You know, myself included, I think. You know, maybe you're a single mum, or maybe a struggling dad in some way. Maybe you're a student trying to plan the whole future ahead, what you're going to do. Maybe you're someone who's just at a crossroads in your life. Maybe you're already, you know, super successful in whatever you're doing. But whoever you are, wherever you're at, whatever storm or battle you're in right now, I would say this: hold on to those God-given dreams we all have inside. You know, they're precious. They're there for a reason. Don't listen to the dream stealers we always encounter in life. Those who tell you you're crazy, or you're too old, or you're too young, or you're too this, or you're too that. They're called dream stealers. Don't listen to them. Be brave. Be kind. Try and be humble. And go for things. Why not? Why not go big? Why not? You know, whatever that dream is, why not 10x it, 10 times it? You know, and I don't know what your dream is, what your kind of Everest, so to speak, is. But whatever it is, go for it. Don't ever take no for an answer. And think what you do. Now you've figured out failure's okay. Think what you can do if you're not scared of failure. Think what you can do if you now know how to deal with the nerves and the anxiety and the fears. Once you get rid of those imposters, why can you not do anything? And ultimately in your life, know the power of unrelenting, unwavering resilience in the key moments, that never give up spirit.
Life is a battle sometimes. And in the jungle, and in the fights, and in the storms, it never rains, it pours. But hold on, hold on. And if you do it long enough, and you never give up, you will reach the top.
Thank you guys. I just want to say a huge thank you for your warmth, your kindness, safe journey home.